Hey, Jason Spangler, the SanteeSwapper. Got a little project here in my patch warehouse, and I thought I would just record a quick video, maybe go live on YouTube, something that I almost never do, so that I could show everybody what I've got going on. So today what I'm going to be doing is sorting out thousands of Boy Scout merit badges. And the goal here is to figure out a way that these can be recycled back into scouting, potentially helping a scout troop be thrifty. That's one of our laws, right? And they could save some money on purchasing items for maybe an upcoming court of honor. Now, I've actually done this for quite a while with the troop that my daughter was involved with here in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I live. I used to have one of the committee members come over here and she would pick through my warehouse, find merit badges and different things that they needed, and she could buy them from me for way cheaper than what the scout shop would sell them for. Now, of course, you have to be really careful about that because you need to make sure you're still turning in all of your advancement paperwork. It's not just enough to give a scout a merit badge or a rank patch. You have to make sure all the paperwork is in. But if you're an advancement person in your troop, you probably know all that. This is really about that purchase where at the scout shop, perhaps now I've heard that merit badges are approaching $4 just for a brand new merit badge patch. And of course, someone like me who buys collections, I randomly end up with these things. So it's kind of interesting. You know, I was actually watching a YouTube video yesterday and it was really about baseball card collecting, sports cards. Not something I'm really passionate about, but I am really interested in what other resellers are doing. And this one particular reseller was actually he was buying baseball card collections in lots and giant, inventory, where he literally might just have 1 penny invested in each baseball card. And then he was taking the time to scan and list those and sell them for as little as $1.50, which on eBay means that your return, and he even said this on the video, which was interesting, he's really only making about 40 cents off of each baseball card. Now you could say, wow, okay, pay a penny and you're multiplying your investment by 40 times. Wow, what business can do that? But of course, on such a small scale, not considering the amount of time and effort it is to list patches, or in this case, baseball cards and sports cards, that is all kind of a wash. So here's what I'm trying to do. I have all these merit badges and they have languished. I mean, languished, as in I have never really tried to list any of these modern era patches. And I've been doing this now. I've been on eBay for 20 years. I've been really hardcore full-time memorabilia dealer for about a decade now. And I have just accumulated these and accumulated these. And other than, again, just letting a local scout troop get a few things picked, I didn't try to do anything with these. But here's the trick. The trick is that now that I sort of understand that this can be a way for troops to potentially save a lot of money, then it sort of falls back on me like, I'm sitting on thousands of dollars of inventory for me, but also thousands of dollars in savings for troops if I would take the time to organize all these patches. So let me just kind of give you an idea of what I'm up against here. This is an unsorted box that I'm going to be dealing with today. This is another unsorted box that I'm going to be dealing with today. So I have, right there a bunch. I do have, this is not the first time I've tried to work on this project, I do have some boxes that are sorted. These are all bagged, mostly alphabetized, and these are modern era merit badges, and then I have another whole box here as well. So you kind of get the idea, like, here's emergency preparedness, for example. Well, emergency preparedness, Eagle Acquired Merit Badge, a lot of people earn this. Most summer camps offer this, so it's a pretty popular merit badge. I'm probably sitting here with a bag, I don't know, 50 of them. Some are the scout stuff, more really modern design. Well, the design is all the same, but the backing. So in my mind, what I am sort of ignoring is the backing. Now, a couple things here. Collectors, merit badge collectors, care about the backing because these types of merit badges have been around for about 50 years now. And of course, collectors will look at the back and say, well, this one with the plastic waffle back or the blue back or the scout stuff back or the 2010 Centennial back, they'll look at the back and they'll say, oh, that's a variation, that's a type change, whatever, and they might get interested in that. However, if you're looking at this bag of emergency preparedness merit badges, all of them from the last basically 50 years, from the front, the design has not changed, and they are a plastic-backed merit badge. So they're a modern merit badge. So in my mind, any of these could be reissued. Some of them probably never were issued because none of these have been sewn on a sash or anything. So everything that I'm sorting here is stuff that is mint unsewn. I do have a tub that I've sort of my discards, if you will, that are all the sewn patches. And obviously here I'm trying to make sure that, you know, the patches that I would be putting back out there are ones that have never been sewn on a sash. These were sewn on a sash and at some point somebody took them off, and I'll just deal with them some other way. So in doing this, what I'm not going to be worrying about is I'm not going to be worrying about the back. I'm not going to go through this bag of emergency prep and sort out the 4 different types of backing that might be there. I'm really just focused on the idea of, does that emergency prep have the right border color, it's plastic back modern, and it's mint condition. Now, interestingly enough, here's a sort of a thing here, and a couple of you are wondering this already, those of you who are collectors. This whole box, and by the way, I had someone help me sort this, so if there's a mistake here, I will say that I have not gone through this box myself, but another gentleman did. And so what he was doing was he was going through these patches and he was putting here, these are ones that are modern era merit badges, but they're not the current style or design that's offered. And just give you a quick example of this. All right, so this is cycling merit badge. You can kind of tell by the design there. I won't try to hold it up close to the camera because it won't really make out well. But some of you who are involved in scouting will know that the modern cycling merit badge is now an optional Eagle required merit badge, which means that it has a silver border. This green border was from the earlier era when cycling was not. So this would not be an appropriate merit badge to issue to someone right now. Another example would be hiking. So similarly, hiking was not an optional elective Eagle required badge back in the day, and so it had a green border, but currently it does, and so that would not work. And then there's some other ones here that are discontinued, like this one here. This is one of the farming badges, I believe, or else it could be soil and water conservation, but this is cloth back. So the cloth back badges are from the very early 70s, like 1969, 70, 71, 72, before they went to plastic back. And so same sort of deal there. I wouldn't want to put these back out there because I feel like they're kind of from an older generation. Some of them can be from the 60s, and that's not really the goal there. You know, here's cooking with a green border. Again, the modern cooking doesn't have that. And then there's a few others that, you know, like first aid that doesn't have a silver border. Again, you know, like what? Of course, you know, it's always been. So I haven't gone through this to kind of double check him. Then there's a few that are retired. Like this is the old journalism merit badge. That's the old design. This kind of has like a microphone with a radio type thing, like you're a broadcaster. And the modern journalism design of this patch is different. So that's one thing that I've got to do is go through here and as I sift and make sure that I pull those out. I mentioned in the description that I buy collections, and so here's an example for you. I got this from Ohio, and a lady reached out to me, and she, I don't know if she was the advancement chairman or scoutmaster or committee member of a troop that I believe is no longer in service, and so she had the, oh, I grabbed the wrong box, I'm sorry. This is not a modern thing, this is an old thing. Nice. The name was Cindy. I thought it was Cindy. Oh well. So what I was going to try to give you an example of is the idea that I'm getting modern stuff, but a lot of times the modern stuff is not interesting to collectors, if you will. So again, we're trying to sort of see, can we recycle these items? So now what I want to do just for a little while is to kind of turn the camera around a little bit and then do a little bit of a dump here and let you guys watch me sort this, and I'll kind of talk about it as I go. All right. I'm really not even sure like what is the best way to sort these out. There's just so many of them, but probably something real obvious would be to go ahead and grab all the ones that are like the Eagle required silver. And so that's what I'll do first, you know, swimming, which is one of the most popular ones, E-Prep, first aid, citizenship. And as I go through this, you know, again, life-saving. I mean, you know, just all these Eagle-required badges that tons of kids earn every year. Just recently, there was a post, probably Scouting Magazine or Boys Life, where annually they have a post talking about what are the most common, popular merit badges that are earned. Of course, they're mostly the camp ones, like camping. See, now there's one that's been, whew, that one's kind of chewed up, so let's throw him in and kick him out. There's another one chewed up there. Sorry, so there's the, in this post, they're talking about the ones that are, you know, earned the most often, and I believe that First Aid Merit Badge has pretty much been on the list forever, because it seems like one that you could do probably, you know, in scout meetings, and it's also really good because it ties into a lot of the requirements for the earlier ranks. So there's a top 10 list, and then, you know, the list goes all the way down to the ones that are not as popular, and some of those merit badges. Now here's an example right there. So I said earlier that I had a whole bag of cycling merit badge with a green border, and here is the modern era cycling with that silver border. And look on the back again, no scout stuff backing, which is probably from about, I think about 2002. I could be wrong about that. Sometime in the 2000s they went to that. So this patch could have been made in the 1990s, or even in probably, I don't know exactly when. I could look it up when this went to Eagle. Well, heck, let's just look it up. That's the point of this video, right? Here's another great resource for you, the Merit Badge Field Guide by Fred Durst Jr. This is a great book for merit badge collectors. If you crack it open, what it does is it has every merit badge ever issued by the BSA. It tells you about these types and stuff, like old squares and different stuff like that. But it goes through and has color pictures of every design that the Scouts have ever had, and then it tells you what eras those patches were used from. It even tells you, for example, if the merit badge was merged into another merit badge, which that's happened a lot, for example, with things like beef production and things where a lot of the farming merit badges have all merged into newer merit badges where they kind of had like, I believe it's called animal science, for example. The one we want to look for is cycling. And so keep flipping here, we will get to cycling. I'm curious, I haven't, yeah, here we go. So that design is from 1975 to the current. You can see the previous design from 1969 to 74 has a different look to it. And then here, Fred makes a note that the design changed to silver border in around 2000. So this patch that we have, any cycling merit badge that was made between 1975 and 2000 would have the green border, and that would not be considered really a current merit badge. But the same design with this silver border from 2000 on, that's really going to be a modern badge. Again, in my mind, I'm not worried about it not having a you know, an imprinted Scout stuff backing. It's still the exact same design that you would earn. So Fred's book is great. I'm not sure where the best place to get it. You can always look on Amazon. Seems like they are the place to go for books. Also, a place like you know, Goodwill, eBay, maybe even Facebook Marketplace, you can find some of these. There's some cool badges in here. This is a badge called World Brotherhood, and you can see it's plastic backed, but it's not a badge that's still issued. And since we went down this rabbit hole, let's just do that for fun, because I don't actually remember the story on World Brotherhood. Looks like it went away in 1972. So this used to be called Citizenship in the World, and it was a different design. And then this was World Brotherhood. It was only around for 3 or 4 years, but that's not a merit badge that's used currently. So this is Atomic Energy. Back in the day, I earned this, but now it's called, I believe, Nuclear Science. But I want to say maybe the design has changed. Again, go back to Fred's book here. If I look up Atomic Energy, let's see here, Atomic Energy, right there. It says it goes to 2004, Type G exists, and replaced by Nuclear Science. So that was Atomic Energy to 2004. I earned that patch in the 1990s when I was, actually 1980s. Sorry, I'm trying to date myself. And then it becomes Nuclear Science. So let's just flip over there because I believe the design changed. Yeah, here's Nuclear Science, completely different design, but basically just replaced that. So what I tend to get in collections is a lot of older badges, so it's really no surprise. There's another one that doesn't exist anymore. I believe that's called like Conservation of Our Natural Resources. What I tend to get are a lot of older collections because people who are sort of downsizing and trying to part with their scouting memorabilia, they're normally, you know, from an earlier generation. And so, except for the rare case where I have, you know, a troop or something that's gone defunct and they're trying to get rid of their inventory, or, you know, the case that I mentioned earlier, then I can get some modern stuff. But I don't typically get a lot of modern stuff. Typically get stuff from the 60s, 70s, 80s. Love getting stuff from the 50s or before, but those people are kind of getting up there. If you do the math, you know, someone who was a scout in the 1950s, well, they might be in their 80s now, and so, you know, they may or may not be around. See a little bag here, like advancement awards. You know, this could have been, this literally could have come from a troop, right? And so, just go right through here. We have cooking and sports, and fishing and first aid. But again, all of these, almost all of these, are the modern design. There's your mammal study. I earned that back in the day. Genealogy, angling. So I think in my mind, these can be sort of recirculated. So I'm going to put all those there, kick these out. I mean, some of them still have the original bag, right? Oh, now this is interesting. All right, let me talk about this one for a minute. This will be kind of hard for you to see in the camera, but this is one for you to keep a lookout for. Collectors, pay attention, right? So I'm going to set this down for a second, but then I'm going to open Fred's book. So Fred talks about a type of merit badge in here that he describes as type I, okay? Computer designed and generated 1993 to 1995. And here's the text. Of course, you could read this, but, you know, this is YouTube, so I'll read it out loud. Sometime in 1993, computer design generated merit badges appeared. They were distinctly different in appearance with a precise stitching and weave, particularly in the outer embroidered ring. They were made in two diameters, 38 millimeters, 42 millimeters. They also came individually packaged in plastic bags with an identification label. Only 30 of this type are known. These merit badges were only made for about 2 years. Well, right here, I can tell you that this dentistry merit badge, as he says individually, look at the back there. Do you see that, like, tan color? That is very different than any other merit badge that I could lay up here. No other merit badge has that tan cloth. But the real giveaway, and once you've seen enough of these, you can spot them, is that outside border. It is a really straightforward, like the weave is like straight out to the edge, and it's very shiny and distinct versus, let's say, for example, this plastic back motorboating merit badge is different. And if I hold them up, it looks like this must be the 38 millimeter because this is the same size as a regular merit badge, but I can spot that one. So again, as Fred says here, of all the merit badges available during that time period, only about 30 of them are known to have been made in this style. And the suspicion is that these were made simply by a different manufacturer, and therefore not all of these were made, you know, they didn't make all 130 whatever merit badges were available in that time period. But there's about 30 of these, and then among those 30, some are the 38 millimeter, some are the 42 millimeter. I've also heard these referred to as California style. I don't know why that would be California style, but it's rare to find these. Out of all these in this pile, maybe I will come across one or two of these. So that, to me, it's very cool that right here I found one. I really hadn't even planned on that being something I would try to look for, but kind of cool. So, but again, some retired merit badge like farm records, you know, that existed. This is what I was talking about earlier when I talked about backing. So if you can kind of look at this, I'm not sure if it would catch in the light, but this is kind of what they talk about with a waffle backing, where there is kind of a distinct pattern here in the plastic, and then also it's sort of a blue tinge to it. So really advanced collectors could narrow this down. Fred doesn't really talk about that much in his book, but some collectors now have gone on to talk about, you know, these different types of backing on plastic back merit badges, and you could try to go and collect all those versus, say, an earlier badge that has a cloth back. So this cloth back one, as I mentioned earlier, is probably pre-1972. In Fred's book, if we're looking here, these are type G. Collectors would call these type G, issued from 1961 to 1971. Some designs would have been with this khaki green background. It's a twill background. And then during that time, during the 1960s, some were fully embroidered and had a cloth back. So this guy right here, which I believe is Soil and Water Conservation, was one of those, what we call a type G. So, all right, well, listen, we could sit here and you could watch a video of me just sorting stuff out, but you know, that wouldn't be a whole lot of fun. Here's another little fun one for you. This is water skiing, and if I were to post this on Facebook, the first thing that some astute adult would say is, "He's not wearing a life jacket." I actually had that happen to me. I posted a picture from summer camp, and it had a picture of a staff member not wearing a life jacket, and that was the first comment from an adult was, "He's not wearing a life jacket." So this merit badge design, they had to change and put a life jacket on the scout because, you know, what? That scout can't be water skiing without a life jacket? Doesn't he know about risk management? But anyways, there's a lot of interesting things in here, and that's why I think collecting merit badges is interesting, because if you have a resource like Fred's, then you can really go down the rabbit hole of when do these merit badges, when were they retired, when did they come out, when did the designs change, and just all kinds of stuff going on. Again, little variations and stuff. It's really a fun rabbit hole. And for really the last 50 years of merit badges, if you were interested in collecting these, you're talking about patches that are worth, you know, all of them less than $5. There's not a single merit badge in here, even collector-wise, that would be worth more than $5, except for maybe that dentistry merit badge. I need to check on that and see what that would go for. But anyways, I hope this kind of gets you interested. If you're interested in finding out more about this opportunity for troops to purchase these merit badges on the cheap from me, you can go to my website, scoutpatchcollectors.com, and there I'll have a post. You might just have to look for it. It's probably going to take me a few weeks to kind of get all this done because I'll have to photograph all these and get them listed. I'm actually going to put them in my Shopify store. I'm not going to put them in on eBay because eBay takes such a percentage, about 20%, honestly, once it's all said and done, that it just, again, makes it almost not worth it. So I'm going to put these, there's another one that's different. I'm going to put these on my Shopify store, and that will allow me to recycle them without having, you know, the middleman of eBay, so to speak. But anyways, hope you enjoyed that. Jason Spangler, the SanteeSwapper. Appreciate you watching my video.